But even in most elementary schools, it's not just math and reading that these kids are learning now.
Yeah, but in a lot of these schools, children aren't even able to move. Like movement is important. They get 30 minutes of movement, 30 minutes of being able to eat. You can't talk. You can't do anything. Like I seen a post the other day. If you look at how a school operates and you compare it to a prison, there's little to no difference. And that's been like that my whole entire life. And technology has changed tenfold. Ask me what the schools still look like.
You know what, Donna? Hey, I got a topic. Since Quan up here, we can ask him this. In 20 years, if we push hard, we push education hard. Like,
None of y'all
do
would
you
still
think?
be able to read.
That's
Well,
crazy.
this my thing. What level do you think we can reach if we made a concerted effort? Now, the concerted effort it might not help much in the hood. We talking about most of the people who are in the suburbs, who hardworking folks, two-parent households. You know, those got to be the ones that they're gonna push education. Do you think we can see an uptick in the graduation rates? And if we do, will it be more from the HBCUs or the PWIs?
PWI is always.
That's loaded. I think that one of the problems that I see that it's like education can only do but so much. It's so much that needs to be done within the households, in my opinion, in order to properly get kids prepared. Because what you run into is like, let's be honest about this. There's been more money thrown in education over my lifespan than any other entities in a lot of these cities, and that money just doesn't do much.
No, they steal it and embezzle it. Let's be honest. Most of
And
these school districts, the money is magically disappearing out of thin air. Nobody can figure out where it went.
and when we also talk about it too, it's a lot of these schools don't focus on skills. You don't learn skills in education anymore. Like a lot of people that's older than me in their 40s and 50s, they remember a time where you went to school and you got a chance to play an instrument. You got a chance to cook. You got a chance to drive a car and driver's ed class. A lot of those things have gone due to the fact that the big focus in education is testing. So they determined that a lot of these skills that were classes do not impact test scores, and that was their reasoning for just getting rid of the shit. And because we as people allowed that shit to happen without no pushback, we don't see these programs anymore in schools. So I think personally, we need to get back to school being more than just reading and math for a whole fucking 8 hours. Because children, I know adults that can't focus on just reading and math for the amount of time that we telling children to focus on that.
But those are the core fundamentals that you need in order to do anything else.
But and this is science. It is scientifically proven that you cannot sustain that amount of attention for a whole 8 hours on just two subjects. There's so much more to
Fair.
there's so much more to getting an education than just learning math and reading.
But even in most elementary schools, it's not just math and reading that these kids are learning now.
Yeah, but in a lot of these schools, children aren't even able to move. Like movement is important. They get 30 minutes of movement, 30 minutes of being able to eat. You can't talk. You can't do anything. Like I seen a post the other day. If you look at how a school operates and you compare it to a prison, there's little to no difference. And that's been like that my whole entire life. And technology has changed tenfold. Ask me what the schools still look like.
That's very insightful. That's a good point.
So what I'm saying is that schools need to bring back a lot of the things that allow kids to use their hands, a lot of skills. There used to be home economics class. A lot of kids, they graduate, they'll be on a roll, but can't cook. And granted, that should be something you learn from your parents, but you also used to learn that at school. What's wrong with bringing that back? You used to could play an instrument in school. A lot of schools don't even have a band. But we got money for reading and math for 8 whole hours. And there are adults that don't have the attention span to be able to focus on these things. So why are we expecting that out of children?
Yeah, I think it's all, wasn't like the school system created by like Rockefeller to like make workers and stuff like that?
I think, yeah, to an extent, it was created to like push people into those sectors of like the government.
Lucky!
Not the government, like public
Hi,
work.
Lucky.
Well, I think we want to have an educated society.
You're muffled.
So we need. You sound muffled. All right, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Am I any better now?
Yeah,
Perfect.
you are.
All right. We want to have an educated society. So we need to have some model of education, some model of basic education. But I, what I was thinking was, a lot of times with Black children, if you're around a lot of Black children, I think a lot of historically Black colleges are more attainable for them. Like a lot of them don't believe they can get into a lot of these colleges. A lot of them are average students to above average students. They might not have the confidence to think that they can walk into a PWI, so they choose not to go. My thing is just having educational options for them is a good way. And Quan's right about the stuff, the electives, because I find myself not realizing that my children can't really go to driver's ed how I went. I was just like, well, sign up for driver's ed. I don't understand the problem. Get your license. What's going on? But I was pretty much saying that, a lot of the electives are gone. I remember, I think I was on the tail end of brick mason and shop where we changed oil in the classrooms. And then I looked up, and 5 or 10 years later, that stuff is gone. Because it's imperative that boys understand how to work with both, work with their hands and arithmetic and math. Because if you're just one-sided, if you're just going to be a brainiac, or just going to be a guy who's just smart with arithmetic and math, then are you truly a man? Because you don't do anything with your hands. What separates you from a female? That's just my opinion. You have to be able to work with your hands at some point. Do something with your hands.
Yeah, and these were traditionally skills that paid your bills. If you were able to, I don't care what level of education you had, if you was able to craft in wood shop, if you were able to be an auto mechanics, you were able to do these things, you could walk anywhere and receive work. Nowadays, they're pushing college. Okay, you go to college and you do these things, you're not guaranteed to get the income that you think you're going to get coming out of these colleges. And what used to be a fallback for, especially for generations before me, was the fact that in school, they learned certain things. They learned how to use their hands. So they always was employed. That's no longer a thing. If you don't go to college, pretty much if you 18 or 19, you working fast food. And that's not a real life to live at 18, 19. I see so many people that I taught over the years. It's either they're working fast food or they're working Walmart, and they have no real way of moving ahead in life because they don't have skills that other generations was able to get just going to public schools.
But see, Quan, that's their choice. Because I tell people all the time, I say, oh, the trades are still open. They're still hiring. You can go out there and get skills. You choose to go into McDonald's and don't get no skills. You choose to go in Walmart and don't get no skills. And like I said, hey, I was crawling up under crawl spaces for years, fixing plumbing and HVAC. I know this. you can get right into that field if you wanted to. And guess what? It still will pay the bills like it always has. You
Yeah,
still will not be looking for work, but these kids don't want to do it. So it's like, well, that's on you if you don't want to do it. That means you want to struggle on your own because you can easily go out here and find the skill and provide for your family,
yeah,
but you choose not to.
yeah, I agree. But what I'm saying is that it wasn't something you had to go out and seek at one point. It was already there within a curriculum. They've taken these things out of curriculums and put the onus on young people to go out and find this shit. That's my point. You didn't have to seek these types of things because it was built in the curriculum that you were going to learn these skills. Now, if you don't have the guidance or the information, you shit out of luck. You only have the options that your 18, 17, 6-year-old mind have in front of you. And if all I see is the fact that I'm going to go to McDonald's or whoever's going to hire me, I don't have that information in front of me. I can only do what I know as an 18, 19, or 17-year-old. Because a lot of the parents, I'm going to be honest with you, they don't have all the information in as well. Because some of the parents are like younger than me. So they grew up without information. And now the kids are now coming of age and not having any information.
Yeah,
That's true.
Quan is right, man. I think the kids nowadays, like, you have to do an apprenticeship to do like some type of trade and everything. And if you don't already have those skills or have like a working knowledge of it, like how you said, the past generations kind of had like some type of information on it, like how to go about getting it and everything, then you're just going to only go with like, fast food, what or like internet type of money, like creating a YouTube or, some, hopefully not an OnlyFans, but some people do that.